They say that talking to yourself is a sign of insanity. But I think that's only if you answer back. Right? Right. This is Talking to Myself, the art advice podcast where I use anecdotes from my real life to try to make myself a better artist, and hopefully a better person. While other people might find this useful also, mostly I'm just trying to avoid paying for therapy. Today on the podcast, I thought I'd talk about the importance of activity, of momentum, moving forward, doing something. And the anecdote goes something like this. I've had a couple of weeks off from work. I'm using part of my vacation time. I always try to use it around Halloween so I can, if there's going to be anything for Halloween, I can get something done around then. And I just like having Halloween off because I like having my options open. I love Halloween. Even here in Australia, where Halloween is the spring, summer area, and sometimes it's miserable outside, I still enjoy the freedom of having the time. So I've had 2 weeks off recently, and I had all these grand plans of getting something done, just like every time I have some time off. The difference is this time, at the end of the 2 weeks, I don't feel like I wasted all of it. Before, when I've had time off from work, I may get one or two things done out of my list of things to do, and I'll get other things done that weren't on my list, obviously. Things will come up, or I'll have some ideas or something, and I'll get a few things done that I wasn't planning on, but I always feel like I wasted the time, like I didn't get enough out of it, because as soon as I get back to work, no time. I've got no free time. Even things like making the podcast weekly becomes a real struggle when I'm doing work also, because I'm working sometimes 10, 12 hours a day. But this time is a little different. Not necessarily because I got so much more accomplished than usual. I actually didn't accomplish everything on my list. I did accomplish several things that weren't on my list. I had some ideas for some craft projects that sort of hit me late in the 2-week period, and I said, you know what, I'm going to try those while I've got some time, because they're the kind of thing where you have to do something and then wait, mostly drying time, and then go back to it and, work on it over a long period of time. And I got a few of those done, and it feels pretty good. They actually came together pretty well. The techniques I'm prototyping here might be useful in future for larger projects. They give me ideas for better projects, things I can make and put in the shop and everything. And more importantly, they make me motivated to continue. That's a big part of this. Doing something is great motivation for doing something, it turns out. Who'da thunk it? Sitting around not doing anything, watching tons of YouTube videos or movies you love is not really a great recipe for the impetus to get up and do something. I think it's momentum. It's just like Newton said, a body at rest tends to remain at rest. A body in motion tends to remain in motion. Now, I know classical physics doesn't have a whole lot to do with motivation for art, but bear with me because I can't think of a better metaphor. So doing these small projects has made me feel better about it. Even if I didn't accomplish very much, I feel like I got a bunch of things tried out. I feel better about the time I've spent off from work this time than any time since I've been in Australia, pretty much. And that includes the 3 months I had off that time when I got my redundancy from the theater because they stopped using human projectionists. So exactly what did I get accomplished here? I mean, it's not anything amazing, or I would have led with that, right? Well, I had planned to do a Halloween coloring book, which I did. It's on the website. I had planned to do a sale on Halloween for the website as well, which meant going through and posting maybe 20 or 30 new pieces, which took a fair amount of time. You have to scan them, you have to prep the images and everything. So that took a little bit of time as well. And I'd planned to do a couple of virtual shows, just to attend them really, to watch them, like Twitch shows and things like that. Art shows that have been canceled due to the pandemic. And I attended a couple of those, and that's good. But the things that I'm most happy with and most proud of are things that just occurred to me to do while I have some time. I started working on a new technique. I didn't invent this technique. It's fabric mache, basically. It's paper mache, but with fabric instead of paper. It's a pretty old idea. But what I've done is taken really thin muslin-y type cloth and just used straight PVA and water on it in a tension situation. Like you stretch it out over something, you paint the PVA on top and you let it dry, and it turns into this hard shell kind of thing. And you can use it to make a piece of cloth a freestanding object. So you can imagine the things you can do with that. It's pretty cool. And they kind of look like ghosts, which is even better. I'm still prototyping a few things with that, but it's very promising. And it meant that I dug out some of my sculpting busts and tools and things. I've had to find my brushes. I had to find my PVA. You know, I had to do things that I was putting off because it was too difficult to do on their own for no reason. Just getting out the sculpting material to have it out wasn't enough motivation. But getting it out so that I have access to it so I can do this thing I'm trying out worked fine. I found myself bored while something was drying, and I made myself a packing tape copy of my hand. This is another technique I didn't come up with. It's actually pretty common, pretty popular now. You just sort of wrap your hand with clear packing tape after putting down plastic wrap, or reverse, as I did, a reverse layer of packing tape first, and you get a crude approximation of your hand. But what I did with that after was pack it with transparent bubble wrap that's blue tinted that I got from a delivery, shoved some LED lights in there, covered it with plaster bandages, and made myself an atomic mummy hand. So it's a light up mummy hand. It's not quite done yet, but I'll be pictures on the Discord and Instagram and everything when it's finished. It's going to be pretty rad, I think. And it's really simple to do. If I had access to another person to do their hand instead of mine, it would have taken maybe a couple hours. Because it was my own hand, I had to cut it open and reposition. Also, it took me, a little longer than that. But it's just an idea I had, and I just ran with it. Because I thought, I'm just going to do it. Just jump in. There's no reason not to. I've only got a little bit of time left. Let's jump in and do something with it. And I think this attitude is going to be a great use to me now that my time is going to be severely limited again because I'm going back to work. Feeling like I don't have time to do something, therefore I shouldn't think about it, just don't worry about it. The stress of not being able to accomplish anything because I feel like I don't have the time, it's going to be less acceptable for me now, because I know that if I just jump in and get started on something, even if I don't have time to finish it, or even if it fails miserably, at least I feel better about that than I feel at the end of the period of time when I haven't used it well, or haven't used it at all. And the things I love to do that waste time, I can probably do them at the same time I'm working on something, like watching YouTube or listening to music or drawing. I can do all that stuff concurrently, So why not? So the lesson I've learned here is, if you jump into something, anything, it's better than complacency as far as artistic and creative endeavors go. Don't know what to do? Don't want to really feel like doing anything? Pick something randomly and just jump in there. If it only lasts for a few minutes, that's fine, but at least you've got some momentum then. You can move into something better or something you like better. Moving forward rather than standing still will serve you better as an artist as far as I'm concerned. And that's pretty much what I learned this week. Thanks everybody for listening. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. Special thanks to all my patrons on Patreon. You guys get to hear and see this a week ahead of everyone else, and you are the shiniest people I know. I'll be posting a little mini tutorial of how I made the atomic mummy hand for you guys soon, and you'll get to see that weeks before the public as well. So take care. Everybody take care of each other. Do something. Just jump out and do something. If you feel like you can't get a hold on whatever it is you want to do, just do something. Anything safe. And take care of each other. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.